Absolutely.
And the only way you get that knowledge is actually diving into the source of knowledge, which is the biblical truth that we see. And that's it, right? Once we become more confident in that conversation because we're actively engaging
Right.
in what that tells us on a daily basis. And you know, we go back to that whole thing. It's a book that was written over a span of 1600 years, I think I said, and we got to fact check all the things I say in that, and by, you know, the numerous authors. Yeah, but even so, I mean, it's just even through changes of history from the beginning of Genesis to the end. It's when you have knowledge of those stories, you can speak confidently about them, and it gives you the opportunity to answer some of those questions that before we were in avoidance of because we didn't have the knowledge, or we couldn't garner the conversation where we would just sit there with people and be like, and as men, we struggle because we don't want to feel stupid in any situation, right?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
Even though we
Well, and I think too, it's like, you know, for new people, you've never read the Bible. Like, most people know at least they've heard some story, something. Start there. I know something about this kid and a giant. I know something about this dude and some lions. Samson, almost everybody knows about Samson. He was
cut his
jack
hair.
wagon. Yeah, cut his hair, whatever. You know, start there. And the thing about really getting in the Word is, you know, the Bible talks about that the Word was God and it was with God. It's like there is a oneness. And the Bible reveals his nature and character throughout Scripture. What he believes, how he feels, how he thinks. And it's another way that you see his nature and character on display in regular Joes and people that are called with these huge, enormous destinies, like the Davids and like the Moseses and like, you know, disciples and stuff like that. But you see his nature and character throughout. And the more we dig into that, when the opportunity arises to share, to speak with people, when they ask you, when there's that drawing of, I want what you got because it's different, or at least tell me why. At least tell me why you're different. You know what I mean? And it's not about, do I remember the story? Do I remember the scripture word for word? But do I know the nature and character of God enough to convey a God that loves to the point of sacrificing his only son? And that, to me, this wraps it back to community. Like we at work, you know, one of the big pillars is community service, and how, you know, you serve the home buyers and how you communicate and how you get along with them and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, we have a couple of people and they're like, you're just great with that. Well, it's like, I value people for people first.
Right.
I don't care if they bought a house, didn't buy a house. They're the worst, nitpickiest, whatever. When you value people for people,
right,
community service or customer service gets really easy. Because my environment, you know, new homes, you know, being a construction manager or home builder, it's like, I want to celebrate this awesome occasion with you. And I'm excited about what you're doing. And I want to help you go through this process, because it can be nerve-wracking and stressful and blah, 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 you know, like all of that stuff. But when I care about them as people, then all of those other things become real easy.
Yeah, they fall in place.